Hey guys, so this is a breaking news. Effective today, July 8th, 2025, for anyone who is applying for a non-immigrant visa, effective today, the US government will only be giving you visa valid for just 3 months if you are from Nigeria. So it's specifically for Nigerians.
Breaking news, the US government has just announced that in the spirit of do me, I do you, every non-immigrant visa to the US would now be issued for 3 months only. Single entry, 3 months. No more 5 years, multiple entry. It's just 3 months.
Alright, let's talk about something that connects two of the world's most vibrant, energetic, and let's be honest, loudest countries, Nigeria and the United States. It's a relationship built on so many things. Music, movies, medicine, a shared love for jollof rice, though one side is clearly winning that debate, and it's definitely not the side that puts raisins in it. For decades, travel between these two nations has been like a well-worn path. Nigerian doctors, engineers, students, and grandparents have been flying to the US, and Americans have been heading to Lagos and Abuja for business and culture. It's a handshake across the Atlantic, a constant exchange of people and ideas that keeps both countries buzzing. This isn't just about vacations, it's about family reunions, life-saving medical treatments, crucial business deals, and students chasing their dreams. The key to this entire exchange, the golden ticket, has always been the US visa. Getting one has never been a walk in the park, mind you. It's always involved waking up at an ungodly hour, standing in long lines and preparing a stack of documents so thick you could use it as a booster seat. But once you got it, it was a passport to opportunity, a symbol that you'd made it through the legendary interview. It represented a connection, a bridge. People planned their lives around this little sticker in their passport. They scheduled weddings, business expansions, and family visits years in advance, all based on the reliability of that visa. But now, as of September 2025, it feels like someone has changed the rules of the game mid-play. The US government has rolled out some new visa policies specifically for Nigerians, and let me tell you, it's causing a stir. Everyone is scrambling, trying to understand what these new rules mean for them. The reliable handshake across the ocean now feels a little uncertain. So, let's get right into the nitty-gritty. What are these new rules that have everyone talking? The first major change, which was announced on July 8, 2025, hits where it hurts the most. The visa's validity and how many times you can use it. Under the new policy, most Nigerian applicants for B1, B2 visitor visas, that's the one for tourism and business, will now be issued a visa that is valid for only a single entry. Yes, you heard that right. One trip. It's like a one-hit wonder for international travel. You go to America once, you come back, and that's it. The visa has done its job and is now officially retired. It's a use it or lose it situation, but more like use it and you've lost it. On top of the single entry restriction, the visa itself will only be valid for a 3-month window. This doesn't mean you can stay in the US for 3 months. The length of your stay is still determined by the immigration officer at the port of entry. What it means is that you must make your trip to the United States within 3 months from the date the visa is issued. So if you get your visa on, say, October 1st, you have to pack your bags and get on a plane before January 1st. If you wait too long, your shiny hard-won visa becomes nothing more than a very expensive souvenir. Let's imagine a real-life scenario. A businesswoman in Abuja, let's call her Funky, gets a visa to attend a conference in Atlanta in November. Under the new rules, she gets her visa in September, valid until December. She travels in November for her conference, spends 2 weeks, and returns. Her visa is now finished. Kaput. If she gets invited to another conference in January, she can't just book a flight. She has to start the entire grueling, expensive visa application process all over again. The application fee, the trip to the embassy, the interview, the whole 9 yards. To truly understand how big of a deal this is, you have to look back at what Nigerians had before. Just a few months ago, the standard US visitor visa for a Nigerian citizen was a thing of beauty. It was typically a multiple entry visa valid for 2 to 5 years. Think about that. You go through the stressful application process once, and if you're successful, you get a golden ticket that lets you travel to and from the United States as many times as you need. It was the long-term relationship of visas, not the Tinder date that the new one seems to be. That multi-year visa was a cornerstone of planning for countless Nigerian families and businesses. An engineer working with a US tech firm could travel back and forth for project meetings without a second thought. Grandparents could visit their children and grandchildren in America, go back home to Nigeria, and return a few months later for a holiday or a graduation. A Nigerian entrepreneur could build relationships with American investors over several trips, fostering trust and securing deals. The visa provided stability. It meant that once you crossed the initial hurdle, you had a period of freedom and flexibility. It was a system that acknowledged the deep, ongoing connections between the two countries. Consider the financial and mental relief that came with the old system. The US visa application fee is not cheap, especially when converted to Naira. Add to that, the cost of traveling to Lagos or Abuja for the interview, and it's a significant expense. The old visa meant you paid this cost once every few years. The new system? You could be paying it multiple times a year. It's like the difference between buying a car and leasing a new one every 3 months. The long-term visa was an investment that paid off over time, saving applicants not just money, but also the immense stress and anxiety that comes with every single application and interview. Amidst all the panic and confusion following the announcements, there was one piece of good news, a small island of calm in a sea of policy changes. The US government made it very clear that these new rules are not retroactive. This means if you are a Nigerian who already holds a valid, multi-year, multiple-entry US visa, you can breathe a huge sigh of relief. Your visa is safe. It will remain valid until its original expiration date, and all the terms under which it was issued, including the multiple-entry part, still apply. You are, for now, exempt from the new world of single-entry, 3-month validity. Imagine you applied for and received a 5-year multiple-entry visa back in 2023. That visa is set to expire in 2028. Until that date in 2028, you can continue to travel to the United States multiple times, just as you always have. The new rules that kicked in during the summer of 2025 do not affect you. You are essentially grandfathered in, operating under the old, more generous system. If you have a family wedding in December and a business trip next March, you can still use your existing visa for both. No need to rush to the embassy for a new application. Your golden ticket is still golden. This clarification is crucial because it prevents immediate chaos for the thousands of Nigerians who are currently in the US, or who have imminent travel plans. It allows for a smoother transition, preventing a situation where people's long-standing plans are instantly canceled. For students who travel home during breaks, for business people with ongoing projects, for families spread across continents, this news provides a temporary buffer. It's a small but significant gesture of stability in an otherwise turbulent policy shift. However, the key phrase here is, until it expires. Once your current multi-year visa runs its course, you will be subject to the new rules when you reapply. It's a temporary reprieve, not a permanent exemption. Enjoy it while it lasts because the visa landscape is changing for good. For the average Nigerian tourist planning a once-in-a-lifetime trip to see Times Square, these new rules are, honestly, just an inconvenience. But for the frequent traveler, they are a logistical and financial nightmare. Business executives, academics, doctors, tech consultants, families might travel to the US 2 times a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. The shift from a multi-year visa to a single-entry one is a seismic disruption. Let's start with the cost. The visa application fee is around $185 and must now be paid for every single trip. A business consultant who used to travel quarterly would now pay that fee 4 times a year. That's over $700 annually in application fees. And that doesn't include travel to the embassy in Lagos, travel to the embassy in Abuja, booking hotel rooms, or taking time off work for the appointment. The financial strain adds up quickly. Beyond the money, there's the administrative burden, the sheer volume of paperwork. Updated bank statements, letters of invitation, proof of employment, ties to your home country gathering. These documents is time-consuming and stressful. You have to prove again and again you'll return to Nigeria. For a frequent traveler, this can feel demeaning. It's like reapplying for your job every 3 months. The mental exhaustion of being under review is intense. This creates barriers to business and family ties. An entrepreneur might turn down a last-minute pitch. A daughter might miss a crucial family event. The new policy adds friction that can slow commerce and weaken connections. The ease of travel is gone, replaced by a slow, expensive, repetitive cycle. For the Nigerian frequent flyer, the sky just got a lot less friendly. Naturally, the big question on everyone's mind is, why? Why is the US making these drastic changes? And why specifically for Nigeria? The US government has provided a few key reasons. They boil down to 2 main concepts: reciprocity and security. These aren't just buzzwords, they represent core principles of American immigration and foreign policy. While the changes feel sudden and targeted to Nigerians, the US State Department frames them as an effort to create a more balanced and secure system, It's the diplomatic equivalent of saying it's not you, it's me, and also a little bit of you. The first and most cited reason is reciprocity. In the world of diplomacy, reciprocity is the idea that countries should treat each other's citizens in a similar way. The US government pointed out that for years, American citizens applying for a visitor visa to Nigeria were being charged high fees for a visa that was often single entry and had a short validity period. In contrast, the US was issuing Nigerians multi-year, multiple-entry visas for a lower fee. From the American perspective, this was an unbalanced arrangement. The policy change is therefore presented as an attempt to mirror the treatment that Nigeria extends to US citizens, creating a what's good for the goose is good for the gander situation. The second pillar of the US government's reasoning is security and information sharing. Officials have noted concerns about some Nigerian travelers overstaying their visas, meaning they remain in the US longer than they are legally permitted. While this is an issue with visitors from many countries, the US has been pushing for better cooperation and data sharing with foreign governments to track and manage immigration. The new, more restrictive visa terms can be seen as a tool to manage this risk. By issuing single-entry visas, the US has more control, as each new trip requires a fresh security screening and a re-evaluation of the applicant's intent. There have been long-standing discussions about Nigeria's information-sharing practices, particularly concerning security in criminal databases. The US has been urging Nigeria to improve its data infrastructure and share more information to help vet travelers. The visa restrictions can be interpreted as a form of diplomatic pressure, a way to encourage the Nigerian government to comply with these security requests more quickly. As if the changes to visa validity weren't enough, another major policy update was rolled out in August 2025, adding a new digital layer to the application process. The US now requires nearly all Nigerian visa applicants to disclose their social media handles. This isn't just for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and other platforms. Applicants must provide any usernames they've used over the past 5 years. This isn't optional, it's mandatory. So, what does this mean for you? You have to go through your digital life with a fine-tooth comb. List all the accounts you've used. The US says this information will be used for vetting and security screening. It's to get a fuller picture beyond the application and interview. They want to see who you are online, who you associate with, and what you talk about. Many see this as a significant invasion of privacy, turning years of personal posts, photos, and connections into official evidence. Not complying or providing false information can be severe. Lying on a visa application is a serious offense and can lead to permanent ineligibility. You might not just be denied this trip, you could be barred from ever entering the United States again. So the pressure is on to be completely truthful. This has led to a lot of anxiety. People wonder if a controversial joke they made 5 years ago or a political opinion they shared could be misinterpreted by a consular officer. This requirement forces applicants to be hyper-aware of their digital fingerprint. That meme you shared, that political group you joined, that angry comment you left on a news article, it could all be part of your visa file. The US insists this is for security screening, but critics argue it could lead to biased decisions based on politics or religion. The Nigerian government did not take these changes lying down. The news was met with a swift and strong reaction from officials in Abuja. The principle of reciprocity is what the US used to justify its move. Reciprocity is a two-way street. Nigeria quickly announced it would walk down that street. The Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded clearly. If the US tightens rules for Nigerians, Nigeria will re-evaluate rules for Americans. It's the diplomatic version of the popular saying, if you do me, I do you. Almost immediately, officials confirmed they were reviewing visa policy for US citizens. For years, Nigeria has pushed to attract foreign investment and tourism. That effort often means simplifying visa processes. But national pride and reciprocal treatment took precedence. The government signaled it may implement similar measures. Shorter visa validity, higher fees, more stringent application requirements. Nigeria's message, no one-sided relationship. American business travelers, tourists, aid workers, frequent travelers and those with personal ties are watching closely, worried about future plans. A reciprocity war helps no one. It creates barriers to trade, investment, cultural exchange. Nigeria's stance is understandable diplomatically, but practically it makes connecting, doing business, and visiting family harder. The hope, this posturing leads to negotiations. Ideally, both governments will find a solution that addresses U.S. security concerns while also acknowledging Nigeria's desire for fair treatment. Nigeria says it's improving data sharing capabilities and is willing to discuss visa fee structure. The official response is firm but leaves the door open for dialogue. Now the ball is in the diplomat's court to find middle ground that doesn't punish ordinary citizens. So here we are in September 2025 in a new era of US-Nigeria travel. The landscape has fundamentally changed and the old assumptions no longer apply. For Nigerians planning to visit the United States, the key takeaway is this: you must be more prepared, more patient, and more informed than ever before. The days of the long-term multi-entry visa are over for new applicants. Every trip must now be treated as a major undertaking. The most important thing you can do is stay updated on the latest policies, as the situation remains fluid and could change again. For first-time applicants, or those whose visas have expired, the new normal means planning well in advance. Assume that your visa, if granted, will only be for a single trip within a 3-month window. This means you should only apply when you have a firm and immediate travel plan. Don't apply in January for a trip in December. Also, be ready for the social media disclosure. Take the time to accurately list your handles from the past 5 years. Be honest and thorough, because transparency is your best strategy. Remember, any attempt to hide information could have long-term consequences far worse than a single visa denial. For those lucky enough to still hold a valid multi-year visa, cherish it. Use it wisely, and be mindful of its expiration date. As that date approaches, start preparing mentally and financially for the new application process. Your next visa application will fall under the new, more restrictive rules. Don't let it catch you by surprise. Use the time you have now to ensure all your affairs are in order, so that when the time comes to reapply, you can present the strongest possible case. The grace period you have is valuable, so make the most of it. Ultimately, while these new rules present significant challenges, they are not an insurmountable wall. Travel between Nigeria and the United States will continue, because the ties that bind the two nations are too strong to be broken by visa policies. It will just require more effort.